Hello and welcome to the first part of the Imhotep series by Lapis, Scribe, Egyptology. My name is Cecelia Hunt. I'm an independent Egyptologist and a 16-year Kemetic Reconstructionalist. And in today's part one of Imhotep, we are going to be covering Imhotep as the architect. So Imhotep is known, recognized, and historically recorded for a multitude of different attributes and things within his lifetime and thereafter. But one of the very first things that he ever was an architect. So if you've ever seen this pyramid, this is the step pyramid of Djoser in Saqqara, Egypt. And this was the very, very first pyramid ever constructed or built. And the architect for this pyramid was Imhotep. And he built this pyramid for King Djoser in the 27th century, so about the 3rd dynasty. And it was built as a tomb for King Djoser. Now, what's really spectacular about this pyramid specifically, and the fact that they had the means and that Imhotep had the intellect to build something this spectacular that early on in history, is that even in Sumeria and in Mesopotamia, they were, in fact, of course, building structures and building their own sort of monuments. But nothing in the size and nothing... They didn't use clean-cut rocks or stones or anything like that, like Imhotep did for the step pyramid. Now, the step pyramid of Djoser in Saqqara is the first recorded pyramid, and it is also the very first massive in size monument ever built. Now, before this pyramid was built, tombs in ancient Egypt were typically made of mud brick, and they were flat roofed and very rectangular. So they were still very, very functional and very important and useful, but nothing as radiant and as impressive as the first step pyramid, and obviously the pyramids to come next. Imhotep really took that mastaba design, so the mastaba would be the rectangular, flat-roofed tombs. He took that design and really just went with it. So basically, instead of just one mastaba, he took multiple mastabas and he just stacked them on top of each other, each one smaller than the one below it, and that is how we get the step pyramid of Djoser. Now, this transformed everything in ancient society, ancient culture, and royal burial traditions. So this really shifted how royal burial traditions were seen, produced, and architected moving forward. And we obviously see that in history with all the other pyramids as well coming after. So if you think about it in a modern sense, right, Imhotep really started the trend of what led to having the Great Pyramids and the wonders of the world that we have today. But the beautiful thing about the step pyramid of Djoser is it wasn't just a simple single pyramid. It was a literal entire mortuary complex. It had a courtyard, it had temples, it had funerary spaces, it had walls, okay, that were around it, as you can see here. But it also had sacred architecture built into the building that up until that time had never been seen before. And when we talk about Imhotep, a lot of people just say, oh yeah, he built the first pyramid, whatever. No, this literally shows us that Imhotep was not just an architect. He was so much more than just a builder. He was a visionary, okay? He was an artist. He understood kingship, he understood religion, he understood beauty. But not only that, he also understood things like political symbolism and permanence. And he recognized the need for ritual spaces. And for a king like Djoser, okay, eternity mattered, permanence mattered. So everything that Imhotep had put in stone, everything on those walls, everything to do with the step pyramid of Djoser had purpose, it had meaning, it had ritual and political effectiveness and purpose. It wasn't simply just a tomb. It wasn't simply just a giant triangle. He didn't build a pyramid, he built a legacy for himself as well as mainly for King Dozier. And because of Imhotep, we now, thousands and thousands of years later, still know who King Dozier is. We know who King Dozier is. We know who Imhotep is. And not only that, but the miraculousness of it is that he inspired later centuries and later architects and later pharaohs and later chancellors to build more and to have inspiration and artistic creativity in order to expand on his first idea. So if you are interested in learning more about Imhotep as the architect, more finer details, more little tidbits that are expanded beyond just this small form video, there is an entire written lesson plan or written blog on Imhotep as the architect over on Lapis Scribe Egyptology's Patreon tier, and you can read even more details there. We also have a Discord server for my Egyptology, which is called Lotus Oasis, and it is more than free to join. You can get updates on not only the Imhotep series, but we also do updates and notifications for archaeological discoveries as well as Egypt news. But if you want to follow along in more grave detail and really get the background scoop and the fine details of who Imhotep was through this series, I highly encourage you to join the Patreon and get everything that you possibly can, because this man is absolutely amazing and I love him so much. So he is the reason that I was inspired to study and get into Egyptology as a child. And so this series is very important to me, and I am absolutely excited to share it with all of you. So thank you for listening to me ramble for 7.5 minutes now about Imhotep and being an architect. And if you want to learn more, stop over on Patreon and read the fine details. Thanks, guys. Dua.